disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flixx, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me, as always, my podcast partners, Joe Hartley and Angel Diaz. What's up, fellas?
What's up, man? How you doing?
All right. If this is your first time with us, I want you to know we are members of the Martial Arts Internetwork. On Tuesdays, we got CTE with Chris, Los, and Travis. Wednesdays is us, Fists, Kicks, and Flixx with Gene, Joe, and Angel. And on Thursdays, you can get the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms. Just look for the Martial Arts Internetwork on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and also Patreon. Fellas, it's showtime. What's going on?
Hey, man. Regular week for the most part, but starting Thursday, my daughter that I've been talking about had her play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it ended today. Thank you, because it's been a long weekend.
So you went to every show?
I went to 3. The other one started when I was still at work. The one today. So
okay,
her other plays were the junior version of all the plays.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the longest one was 90 minutes. This was 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Plus intermission. So you start at 7. You're not getting home. You're not walking out the door till about 10. So, it's not a big deal, but I got to be up at, 5 o'clock. So,
right.
So, and you can't just I can't just come home and go to bed because the kids got to get situated.
Mm-hmm.
We might have to do showers, they want to say goodnight and everything like that. So, it was fun, but it was also a lot. And then my daughter, she is one of those people. She's just like my wife. My wife likes to take on everything. I always tell her, you need 32 hours in a day because you're trying to do too much. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, Thursday and Friday, she was fine. She did good. She had school. Then she came home. We got to make sure she had some dinner. Then she had to go get ready at the show. And then we'd get there and get our seats and then all that fun stuff. Saturday, for her birthday and for Christmas, her best friend got her tickets to Beetlejuice, downtown Detroit.
Okay.
So, and she also had a show right after.
So now you're pushing it.
Oh, she pushed it to the limit because she left the house at 12:30. Jacob and his mom picked her up. They went downtown. They did their thing down there. They did the show, and then they ran her back to the school. No dinner, no nothing. My wife had to smuggle in some food and stuff for her. She was panicking a little bit because she likes a little bit of order,
Mm-hmm.
but she got through it and she did the show and everything was fine. So
let me ask you this. So you saw the play 3 times, right?
Yep.
So I'm assuming the first time you enjoyed it the most because you haven't seen it before.
You know what? I think you would be right to assume that, but I'm going to tell you the second time was better, and this is the reason why. So they had 4 performances. The second performance, they brought in American Sign Language gentlemen, 2 of them. And I've never seen a show like that where they're not to the side just doing sign language. They're involved in the show. So they're dressed up as the characters, and they included them in the show. So a few things changed from day 1 to day 2 when they did that.
Okay.
And they were professionals, so they were very entertaining. So the day 2 was actually the most entertaining show.
Okay. What about the different jokes and things? Like when you saw it the third time, were you still laughing at the jokes?
Yeah. So the difference between the junior version and the this full high school, professionally produced and everything like that, It was phenomenal. Like everyone was on point. My daughter had to step her game up, which she loves. Because like she's always like rearing and ready to go. So like she was on point. She was tired, but she was, she did her thing, and it was fun. It was a good show. I got my money's worth.
Okay. All right. Cool. Anything else go on last week or this weekend?
No, man. Just work and working on all that, and then we're going to Disney in 2 weeks. So now we get to get ready for that.
Okay. All right. Books. What's up with you, man?
What's up, man? Nothing much, man. Just chilling, just relaxing. That's really it, man.
How was your week?
My week was good. It was crazy like always, but that was it. And then my weekend was cool, just calm and chill.
What time does your dojo open?
5:00.
Okay. Are you teaching the first class or is someone else teaching?
I teach the first class.
Okay. So
Yeah.
do you teach all of the classes?
I teach most of them, not all of them, but like majority of them.
So you're normally getting home at what time on a normal day? Like 9 o'clock?
8:30.
8.
Yeah, 8:30 around there.
So you have long days. I get it.
Yeah, every day's a long day.
And on top of that, of course you got to have training for yourself and then traveling. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been enjoying this time where you haven't had to really travel on the weekend, right?
Yeah, man, I've actually enjoyed it, bro. It's actually not bad. It's actually just cool to kind of stay home, like actually have a clean room, like lay in bed, relax. So it's pretty good. It's not bad.
Did you go to VFT?
Yeah.
I have not been kept up to date with everything that happened last night.
Yeah, I went to VFT. It was a good card. Exciting. A lot of storylines behind it, and it was a good overall time, man. I just always support them. They support us, so gotta support them.
Right. Did Trav put you to work?
No, I didn't have to do nothing. Thankfully.
Yeah, you got to just chill and relax, huh?
Yeah, thankfully.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So yeah, man, my weekend and week has been pretty cool also. I watched the movie today. Got that taken care of. Yesterday, just pretty much just relaxed around the house pretty much. We went to go hang out with my frat brother. His birthday was yesterday, so we went down to MGM, hung out down there for a few hours with a lot of my college friends. So we had a good time. Got home real late, and then woke up early today. So I was a little tired, and I think I probably had something still in my system too when I woke up this morning. So yeah. And guess what, Angel? Guess what? Travis did some teaching. Came to my dojo. Yeah, he came to my dojo and actually worked with my advanced class. He asked me on Thursday. He said, "What time's the advanced class?" I told him. He said, "I don't want to come teach."
Oh wow!
I was like, "Okay." And he showed up, man. He did a good job, man. The students enjoyed having him there. They want him to come back and do some work.
That's
teaching.
good, man.
Yeah. So he worked with them a lot on. First, he talked to them about forums and why they should, why they should do forums. And then he started working with them on some sparring drills, different things, how they can improve their skills as far as chambering their leg up correctly when they're doing lunge and roundhouse kicks, and also not just bouncing up and down, but adding some movement, some angles and things like that also. So he worked with that on there, and I got some video. Yeah, he asked me to record it, and I was recording, and the only reason I didn't post it because I don't know what he was planning to do with it. So I sent him all the videos, and I was just waiting to see what he was going to do with this. So I didn't post anything,
Yeah, no, that's dope.
Okay. And other than that, man, we haven't been doing anything over here. Just laying around. Champ's birthday is next week. His birthday is Saturday. So me and his mom are trying to put something together for that, man. He really don't care what we do for his birthday, So his mom said we're going to do a bowling party. And
that sounds fun.
Yeah, and she, the place doesn't do parties. the bowling alley that she chose over in Berkeley, they don't do any reservations or anything like that. So we just got to show. They just told us to show up, and they'll give us a couple of lanes, So she said, okay, we're gonna be there for about 2 hours, and I was like, huh, like our little kids going to bowl for 2 hours? This just seems like an awful long time. So I'm going to be interested to see how these little kids do. He's turning 10.
Now, my bowling alley by me, one of them, the biggest one, they got smart. So they started getting a lot of families in there, and they added like a bounce house.
Oh, okay.
And the more popular it got, you can go in there and just do the bounce house, or you can put the kids over in the bounce house and go bowl.
Okay,
that is smart. Yeah, you can order food and drinks and everything like that, and they do birthday parties specifically in there. And it was very smart because we would go there just to go to the bounce house,
right?
And then the kids would be like, "Oh, we want a bowl." We're dropping, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80 some days.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, y'all, it was smart. And then they started adding some video games and some ticket video games. They really, the whole thing really took off. So it's real family friendly and not just bowling.
Now, when you and your kids did that, did they bowl for 2 hours?
My kids enjoy bowling, but we don't, 2 hours for us is 2 games.
Why is that? Because you guys it's just more than just you guys going.
Well, it's 5, or we'll usually invite my brother and his family. So there might be between 2 lanes, there might be 8 to 10 people.
Yeah. So they're going to be 8 kids. But it's still kids. Like,
No, I agree.
It's not like it's going to be adults and talking. And
my son usually, he might bowl 10 times and be done, where I'll have to finish up most of his frames.
Yeah. And I know it's no real comparison, but me and Melissa, we've gone bowling before, and we're out of there within an hour, and we'll bowl 6 or 7 games in an hour, because it's just us. It's just us, So yeah, it's gonna be interesting on Saturday to see how this plays out.
You might have to come up with some more entertainment.
Yeah, even at the bowling alley we're going to, I don't even know if they got video games there. So I just don't know. I just don't know how this is all going to play out. So yeah,
to find out next week.
yeah, to be continued.
So just so everyone knows, on the podcast, we're actually recording on Sunday tonight because we got another thing going on Tuesday, where we're doing an interview from a couple movies ago with No Surrender, No Retreat, No Surrender. So that's going to go on the Patreon. So you guys should really think about joining up. $5, and it should be a good interview. So today, this is still going to come out on Wednesday, I believe. But
yeah, this still come on Wednesday. Yeah,
y'all getting a double dose of the Fist Kicks and Flixx if you're on.
I know Travis was like, finally. I know he's like, finally, you guys are doing something for Patreon.
You know what? We found our stride for the podcast. Now we're going to work our way into the Patreon, and then they're going to be sick of us. So let's do this.
Yeah, probably so. Because I got a couple other shows I want to get to. Might as well talk about this right now. Since it's just you and I, and when Angel get in, I'll let him know. But I told Travis that I want to do another show called Fist Kicks and Flixx Plus. Right now, that'll be something where it'll be one of those Angel movies, something that's technically not a martial arts movie, but we can still watch and review it, like Rocky. Rocky will be over there on the Plus show, Fist Kicks and Flixx Plus, or I don't know, Lethal Weapon, or any type of action movie that we might decide to do, or whatever.
Basically, we can just pick movies we want to watch that not necessarily martial art movies.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't. It's up to you guys, but we don't have to do a whole hour. We can just, we can discuss that however you guys want to do it. If you guys want to do it 30 minutes or whatever, I don't know.
A little flash episode. Yeah, we'll talk about it and figure it out. Come up with the best way.
Okay, so coming soon. So you guys heard it here. So 2 new shows coming from Fist Kicks and Flixx. But first, let's get into this movie. Everything, everywhere, all at once. What did you guys think of this movie?
It's pure chaos.
They
I
actually
think
said
It's
movie.
it's huh?
They actually said that in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, the movie is pure chaos. I
Yeah.
mean, that's all there is to it, and I think that's what they were going for. Because as I'm watching this movie, I'm thinking in my mind that they took like the best parts of a lot of different movies and mashed them all into this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like I saw. So, what we're going to get into in this movie is the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, only because it's the most recent, the Marvel gets into the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
So the multiverse is basically different universes throughout
And
the world.
DC.
Yeah, all different, tons and tons and tons. So maybe there's a million different genes, a million different Joes, a million different angels, and we're different in each universe, part of the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what they do in this movie also reminds me of the butterfly effect. Have you guys seen that?
I've never seen that.
Okay, so the only reason I'm saying that is so
You know
they're
what? It came out like in '97 or '98 or something like that, right? With is
might have been 2000. It's Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher? Yeah, I did. You know what? I did see that, but I don't remember. It was so long ago.
So they do something in this movie that we're going to talk about called verse jumping. And
Mm-hmm.
verse jumping allows you to find yourself in another part of the multiverse and bring in like some of your own abilities
In
or
memory.
powers and memories. And that's why I said the butterfly effect, because the butterfly effect, basically, he can read journals from his past, and then he could kind of travel there
Mm-hmm.
and then change something. And then it shows his mind after he changes something, all the changes that up to current. So
Okay.
that's what I feel like they did that in this. Every time she would make a verse jump, she would see like some of the stuff change, or because that wasn't a part of her current world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like they were bringing, like I said, different parts of different movies all together. The Matrix, she was almost downloading
Mm-hmm.
martial arts and downloading different things that she can do in other multiverses. Now the trick in this one is to be able to obtain a quote unquote special power, you have to do something out of the ordinary. The smaller the task, the smaller you can download. So if you need a big power, you have to do something like astronomical. You got to do something crazy out of this world, like out of character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they show lots of different ways that she does that and lots of different ways other people can do that.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys notice that two of the producers of this movie were also people who were associated with Marvel, uh, Anthony and Joe Russo,
Yeah.
and so that was an interesting tie-in, especially with them going the multiverse direction with this movie.
Well, I saw an interview with the two directors, and they were asked about if they wanted to get into the Marvel universe, and I think they were asked maybe to be a part of the next series of Loki.
Okay.
And they said, based on this movie, that they're probably not going to want to touch the multiverse for a very long time. They were talking and joking, saying they want to do like a drama or a love triangle movie, something far and away from the multiverse.
Yeah, this is something I've always thought about. A different version of me, different experiences, especially based upon the decisions that I've made. Like, what would have happened if I didn't go to the store on this day? If I went somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, one of the realities was really messed up, where she saw herself and her life was better if she never had married her husband. Both of them,
Yep.
both of their lives was better. That's messed up. That's
It
really
is.
messed up because there's
It
nothing.
is.
There's nothing you can do. You can't go into that life. That's almost like a tease. That's like finding out that that you really had a Powerball that was worth $500 million, and then you find out that you lost it. You go cash it and you can't find it, but you know you won. You know, that would be a painful feeling, you know.
Yeah.
Angel,
So
you got a lot of noise going on in the background. I just want you to know. Not right now, not at this second, but when you were moving around, sounds like your phone had been ringing, or something was going on your computer or something.
No.
Well, I know it wasn't coming on my end, and it looked like me and Joe were just sitting there. It's not happening now. It was a little while ago. It was a little while ago, a couple seconds ago.
Oh no. Yeah, this movie, I think just the title of the movie really ties in like what happened in it. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Like that's realistically what it was. And
So,
yeah, 100%.
Everything was
Joe,
just so chaotic.
Joe, how many times did you watch this movie?
I had to watch it twice because there's a lot to take in with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time I just wanted to watch it, and then the second time I wanted to like catch some things that I didn't necessarily catch the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a pretty straightforward movie. Like it's crazy the first time and it's crazy the second time.
So, Angel, I saw that you said you saw it twice. I also saw it twice. Also, the first time I didn't watch it all the way through. I had I watched half of it and I was just lost, so I had to start it over. I started it last night, couldn't finish it, and then I watched it today and I just started over. I didn't pick up from where I left off. And when I watched it the second time, the beginning part made more sense because at first I was lost. I did not understand anything. Nothing made sense to me. And quite frankly, I was actually getting a little upset watching the movie because it was just so confusing and I was so lost the first time I saw it. And I remember the same thing happened to me when I saw The Matrix for the first time. Like I did not like The Matrix when I first saw it because I was lost. It was because it was a different movie. It was something that we never saw before as far as storytelling.
Yeah, true.
So this was like that for me. But the second time I saw it, you know, the beginning part of the movie, the first half of the movie made a little bit more sense. I understood it a little bit better. So, you know, for you listeners out there, you just understand that you might have to watch this movie more than once, at least to get the understanding of a movie that happens at the beginning of the movie. All right, Joe.
No, so I read reviews about this movie, and it was either 1 star or 5 stars. There was really not a lot of 3 stars. So you could tell, like, if it wasn't your cup of tea, you hated it. If you could get through it and watch it and actually get with it, then you probably enjoyed it. So that doesn't shock me. These kind of movies are like that. It's very shocking, a lot of the stuff that's going on, and then it just gets weird.
Yeah.
So, like, if you don't like that kind of stuff, or like if just too weird is weird, they take it further than that. So, the movie starts off with an Asian American family, Chinese American, I guess, is what they said. They're speaking a lot of Mandarin in the movie, and it's a wife, her husband, and her daughter, and they're kind of going through the motions of life. They got, you know, typical problems that anybody else has. You know, the husband's thinking about divorce. They're running multiple businesses. They have a IRS problem. The IRS has put a lien against one of their or all of their businesses. I think they run a restaurant, a laundromat, and was there another business? I'm not sure. That might have been just the two businesses.
You know, honestly, man, I just thought it was just a laundromat. I didn't even peep that they had a restaurant. I missed that part.
Yeah, because they were putting out orders for people and stuff like that. So at least of that. I mean, I could be wrong.
I thought it was the order for their clothes, picking up their clothes. That's what I thought.
Oh, you're right. You know what? Maybe they were just cooking at the house because she was.
Well, the house was upstairs. Their house was was above the laundromat.
So the wife, played by Michelle Yeoh, his name is Evelyn. Her name is Evelyn. Her husband is Wei Man, and they're the Wang family. And then they have a daughter named Joy. Mm-hmm. So they're talking about Evelyn's father coming to town. And Joy wants to know, Joy has a girlfriend. And from my understanding, in that culture, it's pretty frowned upon to, to not be in a heterosexual relationship. And so she's kind of asking her mom if she can bring her girlfriend for her grandpa's birthday, I think it sounds like, is what I was gathering. And she's avoiding the question altogether. Her girlfriend's name is Becky. And so this is kind of the movie. The movie starts off maybe the first 10, 15, 20 minutes kind of slow. And then right when you kind of learn the sci-fi twist to the movie, it takes off and it never looks back.
Yeah, because it seemed like the rest of the movie was actually the end of the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it seemed every 30 minutes or so, it seemed like they were getting ready to wrap up the whole movie. You know?
Yeah, I think they're just they're showing this typical family. The fact that they're Asian American, I don't think really matters. I think it's just the route they chose to go. I think this could have been any, typical family
Yeah.
dynamic.
Yeah.
You got worries, you got marriage, and you got, there's a gap between her and her daughter. What's her daughter? Maybe 17, 18, 19, something like that.
I would say about 21 or 22. It seems like she had maybe still been in college or was about to graduate. That's what it kind of seemed like to me.
Yeah, well, you're probably right. So they're just basically, like I said, they're going through it. So the dad comes to town, and the dad, I don't know why, but the dad's not even involved in their business, but they take him to an IRS meeting they have.
Yeah, I think they took him there initially because they didn't have anybody to watch him.
I mean, I think the daughter was still there and her girlfriend, even though.
Well, remember, she left. They left because they got
into
an argument.
Well, because she wanted her to push the idea of her coming to the party, and her mom introduced her as her friend.
Yeah.
So the mom was basically pushing it off as, oh, this is nobody. So, I mean, and they've been together for 3 years. So to not recognize the relationship, that is a little jarring.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit of more serious than just some random college fling.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the mom was kind of like, well, the dad kind of disowned me for, marrying Wayman. So maybe she was just, she was afraid that, what is he going to do if he finds out that my daughter is gay? So I guess she didn't want any more distance between her dad and their families. That's the only thing I was thinking. But so, nobody could watch him. So they had to take him along on to this IRS meeting.
So here's where the movie kind of picks up. So they go to an IRS building, and they got to meet with this IRS consultant. And they, like I said, they have a lien on their business. And so they got to produce paperwork and a reason to remove the lien. Now they're in the elevator, and suddenly the husband, he kind of looks like someone else possessed his body.
Yeah.
And so we don't know this yet, but I know this because I've watched the whole movie. Basically, he's verse jumping. So a different version of her husband in what they're calling the Alpha universe, the universe that first discovered the multiverse. So that's, I guess, they're the ones who basically can control the whole multiverse, or they know how to use it to their advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he jumps into her current husband's body, and he gives her a list of he has an umbrella. He blocks a camera. He puts some headset on her that we don't know about yet, and he gives her instructions on what to do. Now, of course, she thinks he's crazy because she has no idea what's going on.
Right.
And
she looked lost. Like I was.
She looked very lost. Oh, extremely. Well, I was just trying to figure out, okay, I said, obviously there's some significance here, but we have no idea what it is.
Right.
But you'll find out very soon. So he gives her instructions. He writes them down. Of all places, he writes them down on the back of divorce papers her current husband had that he wanted to present to her. So that was funny to me because it's going to play a part later.
Right.
But anyhow, she goes to the meeting. It's her husband and her father, and they're in this meeting with the IRS lady. Well, now the IRS lady is actually played, and I didn't find this out till way later. Played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Now they've frumped her up. They made her look real old, and in this movie, she's just a crotchety, bitchy old lady who just wants to take some people down a peg.
Right.
And she plays that part very well.
Right. Like I said, man, I just, to me, it was her mannerisms made me think I know her from somewhere. And Melissa was watching it with me and she said, oh, they really made Jamie Lee Curtis look really, really old. And I was like, oh, that's who that is. I knew it was somebody. So yeah, you're right.
So she's kind of disconnected from this meeting. This meeting, by the way, that could take her business away from her. And she starts looking at the piece of paper, and the first thing on the piece of paper, it says, switch the shoes to the wrong feet.
Now, I did not understand that. What did that have to do with the rest of this movie?
Because that's one of the silly things that she can do to power up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They mentioned it later. That's the only reason I know that. But I never would have thought of that either.
Yeah, okay, man.
Yeah. So, and then it says to push this button on the headset and then to think of a memory. And she has no idea what's going on. She has no idea what this is going to do. But when she does do it, it sends her backwards in the chair into the closet.
In her mind.
Yes. See, we don't know that, but when you look, it looks like she just took off. But really, what it does is it puts her current person on autopilot and puts her into the multiverse with the multiverse husband.
And she
so
really
looks,
and she really looks crazy also when she's just sitting there.
Well, and I mean, this is like how you don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, you get superpowers, and you don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's given her a brief explanation of what's going on, but obviously, I think she's pretty sure that he's just crazy. The problem is, she starts seeing things and realizing that maybe he's not crazy. Now, we go back to the IRS lady. She's talking. She's making them basically feel bad. And she shows off these awards. These awards, the second I saw them, I said, what do these look like? And I said, I swear to God, if that, I don't know why that's like that. And I'm going to be honest, these look like butt plugs, okay? They look like little butt plugs. And they play a part later. And now I listened to an interview, and the part that they play later, it literally broke Michelle Yeoh. They said like the whole movie was messing her up, but this part broke her. What? She was laughing hysterically for 20 minutes.
Okay.
And they had to give her a minute, and she lost her mind because she was like, why am I doing this? So when we get to that, I'll tell you more about it. But it was actually, I found a couple of good interviews that were pretty fun to watch because it just gave you more on the movie. But anyhow, so the meeting with the IRS lady is not going well. Meanwhile, she's not helping because she's on autopilot and she's still trying to figure out what's going on with this multiverse thing. And the multiverse husband explains some things to her. And then out of nowhere, some zombie thing comes through the door, rips the multiverse husband's head off, and
that whole thing was weird. Also, that was really strange because he said we're about to die now, and but he really wasn't dead.
That version. So the other big thing is the husband's kind of noticing, the real husband's noticing his wife's acting odd. And so she drops the paper that she was reading, and he thinks she's acting odd because she found the divorce papers that he was going to present. But she never saw it until now he shows it to her. So now she's really, So now she's really all over the place, and she can't focus on this. She's basically ignoring her IRS problem. She's ignoring her marriage problems. All she could think of is this whole multiverse situation and what the hell's going on with it. And the problem is it's going to get worse because she thinks she's still in the multiverse, and the IRS lady comes at her and she punches her in the face. She just straight up assaults her.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is not helping her situation. She's calling security. I think the police are getting involved. Her and her husband are now fighting. Now, somehow miraculously, they get an extension. They get till 6:00 to come up with the proper paperwork to save their business. Now, this is to me where I decided I like this movie because Multiverse Husband shows up again, and the security guards are going to take her out, and so he has to save her. And he takes out a fanny pack, takes out a thing of chapstick, starts chewing on it.
Yeah, another one of those silly things.
So this is where we find out this is how you power up. You have to do something weird and silly. And there's a team kind of like the Matrix, where they're looking at the Matrix and they're telling you where to go, what to do. But this one tells you like, okay, if you do this, you can get this power. If you do this, you can. So my man, he chews the chapstick, he eats the chapstick, he pushes his little button, and now all of a sudden he's using his fanny pack like one of those chain whips for the in Kung Fu, and he is just beating the crap out of everyone with it.
Yep. So this is one of the few martial arts fight scenes that we get in this movie.
I didn't think this guy was gonna be able to fight at all.
You did. I had a feeling he would, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Champ was watching it with me, and he got into it when he saw this scene right here.
Yeah, I loved it. You know, because at first when he took that fanny pack off, and I was like, he's gonna fight with this. I was thinking Pootie Tang.
Angel, what did you think of the movie up until this point?
It took me a minute to understand what was going on. I can't remember if we reviewed the movie or if I know I watched it on my own a few times. Have we ever watched the one with Jet Li?
I wanted it on our thing, but yeah, I don't think we did watch it.
Okay, so like, have you guys seen that before? Joe, you sound like you've seen it.
Oh yeah, I've seen a bunch.
I saw it when it first came out, but I don't.
Okay, so like, in case we do review it, I'm not gonna give away the whole thing, but basically, it's like multiverse hopping the same way. But just I think with the plot of the one was just like if you kill your multiverse self, you become stronger. So I just thought it was at first it took me a minute to understand what the multiverse like. I saw it, I was like, oh, like it looks like they're multiverse hopping, looks like they're going from person to person, like different experiences they had. I just didn't know that it was all in their mind. I thought they actually were going to the place. Like I didn't know.
Well, they go there in their mind. They go there.
No, I thought they physically like left, like their body left. That.
Yeah, it took me a minute to figure that out. So that's why they call it verse jumping, because you jump to that verse and then you come back with the knowledge from that verse.
Yeah, so I didn't know that part. But then once I kind of got it, I really just felt like I was watching like, I don't know, just like a different version of Doctor Strange. Like kind of like what I got from it. It just looked to me like it was kind of like Doctor Strange because he's able to be in the moment. He's able to, bend time and space and, do different things, but still have the same knowledge from prior experiences to the future experiences. So that's what I feel like I was watching. And then the only other part about that was it just got real confusing sometimes. Just once they started hopping from place to place in their mind, like sometimes like
and you got to spend about the whole movie, the rest of the movie doing that.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like and that just got a lot because they were like literally changing different environments, different experiences within a 10-second scene. Like you just didn't know where they were. So it was kind of tough to stick with it at that point. But once I got it, I understood like what the movie was. Kind of like how you said, Joe, like no one gives it 3 stars. It's either 1 or 5. Like I feel like for me, like I'll be like a 3-star type of person just because like I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, but once I understood it, I can see how like people would say it's a great movie or how it's an Oscar nominated movie. I can understand it. Like I can see how. At first, I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought it was all in subtitles, and I was about to be shoot, like I don't know.
I thought it was too. I thought it was.
And then all I thought about at first, the way it was going, I thought about that movie Hero when we watched with Jet Li. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate this movie. But I gave it an honest shot. Like I said, up until that point, everything was good. After that, once you understand up until that point, the movie, not saying it's easy to understand and not saying it makes sense, but like you understand like when they do weird stuff and they do like the different, like just like the weird quirky things. You get why they're doing it.
Oh yeah, there's
So
plenty of
so
that.
so this is what started confusing me. So I started getting confused because I was wondering, was she really going when all when she was jumping from verse to verse to verse to verse to verse, like every 10, 15 seconds. I was wondering if she was really doing that, or if this was all of her characters, her different versions of herself, just having a conversation with whoever. Because in one universe, she was talking with Wayman, but he was a CEO. And in another universe, she was a rock. In another universe, she was a pinata. In another universe, she was doing something else. And because she couldn't have been able to keep all of these conversations going if she was jumping. If 1 minute I'm talking to you, Joe, and 15 seconds later I'm talking to Angel, how could she possibly be keeping up with what's going on?
Well, the way that I rationalize that is because they said that you could learn how to do this the more you do it.
Yeah,
But what happens is it starts to fracture in your
yeah,
mind.
yeah.
And with proper training, you learn how to seal the fractures.
Okay.
The problem is she never got the proper training.
Right, right.
And so what's happening right now is all the other people in that room, security, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, the IRS lady, and everybody, they are now their multiverse themselves, and they're introducing us to the bad guy of this movie, and the bad guy is Jobu Tupaki. Now we don't know what she looks like yet. We just know that she has a master plan, and that the whole idea is that multiverse, Alphaverse Wayman thinks that this version of Evelyn can stop Jobu Tupaki.
Right.
And so while this is all going on, in walks the great bad guy, Jobu, and she kills this version of multiverse Evelyn. And she's got a mask and a wig and everything on, so we don't really see who she is yet. And I kind of thought that was weird because I'm like, is that going to be throughout the whole movie? But when they do show her face, then you realize why they didn't want to show you that soon.
Mm-hmm.
So meanwhile, while all this is going on, and Evelyn's kind of learning more and more about this, and trying to figure out like what her role is in through all this, and she's really kind of believing in it, even though it's pretty unbelievable. She still has her regular self, who's on autopilot, getting into all kinds of trouble.
Right.
Now, the way they're explaining this to themselves, it doesn't matter because everything they're doing is for the greater good. But if your ass ends up in jail, how are you going to help?
Right.
And then, of course, her whole family, she's got her father there, who she even says, like, I can't leave my dad behind. And the multiverse people say, oh, we got him under control. He's in the kitchen eating pudding.
Yeah.
That's how you call him under control? Oh,
But
yeah, we're monitoring him.
So I saw that part twice, and I don't understand. Like, how did he even get in there? Like, who put him in there? Like, he was at the elevator with them when the security came, and that's when the fight started. And then they ran away. Wayman, Alpha Wayman and Evelyn run away, and that's what she says. Oh, that's when Wayman tells her that we took care of him, and he's eating. But who took him? Like the whole movie, this guy can't move on his own. Well, up until this point, he's not moving on his own. He's just sitting in a wheelchair. He's not even rolling himself. Well, you know what? I'll take that back because at the beginning of the movie, when we first see him, he's standing up in the laundromat. Yeah. So he can walk when he wants to. Okay.
He really wanted some pudding, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
So this next part we have the IRS lady is stapled a piece of paper to her head, and she powers up, and now she's some kind of wrestler, and Alphaverse Wayman is trying to power up, and his powering up is to give himself 4 paper cuts in between his hands, which, by the way, makes me cringe because that is the worst.
Yeah,
that's the worst place to get a paper cut.
Hurt, man.
And
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that one. I'd rather like kick myself in the nuts or something because that no thanks.
Yeah, because he's not wrong because a paper cut's gonna be with you for a couple days.
Yes.
That nut
And
shot will be
4
with
of
you
them?
for a few hours and then it's gonna go away. We've all been kicked in the well, Angels, it stayed a little bit longer when you got hit down there.
Oh, listen, bro. Let me tell you something. I don't think I've ever like for you to go have a seizure and black out of that. That was different. Never had that.
Yeah, but trying to wash your hands with a paper cut or put on sanitizer is just going to kill you.
It's terrible. And
Yeah.
I mean, you can't avoid that kind of stuff. So, and he was having trouble doing the paper cuts because, like, he kind of pointed out, like, paper cuts, you don't do those on purpose, you do it on accident. And so he was having a lot of trouble. But he figured it out. And then, but he gets like, she picks him up and does a backbreaker on him, WWE style. And there's all kind of craziness going on in this whole thing.
There's a couple of wrestling moves in this movie.
And so he is explaining to Evelyn that to power up, she has to say a meaningful "I love you" to the crazy wrestling IRS chick. And she's struggling with it. But this is the only way she's going to get martial art powers. And they kind of show what happens if you do the task and then push the button, but you don't do it correctly, it takes you somewhere else.
Right.
So she ends up in an ambulance with her daughter and her husband, and that's not going well. And then she comes back, and then she finally does it right. She gets her martial arts power, and then we finally get to see, some good martial arts because Michelle Yu, she's a very good kung fu martial artist.
Yeah, I was about to
I've
say
been waiting. I'm like,
wushu, right?
yeah, and she's really good. I mean, and I was like, I was waiting for it. I thought it took forever. I mean, we're like over 50 minutes in before she even, throws a punch.
Yeah.
But that's okay because, again,
I thought they would have did more with her being a martial artist. Also, I mean, they did a couple scenes, but I just thought that there should have been more.
I agree 100%. So she gets into a big fight, and then afterwards, she's kind of done for now, verse jumping, and she kind of wakes up, and everyone's kind of looking at her like she's crazy, and she's trying to explain what's going on, but she's also a little pissed off because her whole world is crashing down.
Right.
And then on top of that, she has to be the savior of the multiverse. So she's got a lot going on. And I mean, of course, nobody's really going to believe her. I mean, who would? It sounds crazy. Right. I mean, it's crazy just watching it. But I mean, what are you going to do? So jumping ahead a little bit.
We're going to start jumping around a lot.
Not too much because we get to
no. I'm talking about in the movie. I'm talking about the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It just kept jumping and jumping.
Well, I'm just
going to the different verses.
Because there's a lot of stuff in between. But so she gets home with her husband, and she's trying to explain to her husband and to her daughter what's going on. Now the problem is she met Jobu Tupaki, and she got to see Jobu Tupaki's face.
Right.
And the problem is, it's her daughter.
Yeah. It's a version of her daughter.
Yes, but it is technically, it's. I mean, in her mind, it's her daughter.
Right.
And so we're slowly kind of figuring out that Jobu Tupaki is like basically she's lost faith in the multiverse, and she basically wants to end the multiverse and herself. And the way they explain it is she wants to create a black hole to kind of suck it all in. Now, she calls this the Great Bagel.
Mm-hmm.
It literally, when you see it, it's a burnt bagel that's acting like a black hole.
We saw this bagel earlier in the movie, too. Do you know where?
I saw, yeah.
Yeah. In the IRS office.
Yeah.
The IRS lady, when she circles the receipt, she does it over and over and over. And then when she staples it on her head, I'm like, oh, that's the donut.
Okay. The donut, it's a bagel. There's a difference.
Oh, my bad. The bagel.
Now, the other thing that happens here is we find out multiverse grandpa.
That's right.
Yeah, and he's kind of got like a Professor X thing going on with a speedy wheelchair, and he's kind of got like some robotic arms and stuff on, or like a backpack. I don't know what it is exactly.
Yeah.
And he basically tells his daughter that she has to kill Joy. Like, that's how you stop everything. And of course, she's not going to do that. That's her daughter. I don't care if she's the big bad guy, whatever, and everything like that. It's not going to happen. And so he pulls out a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, they think this is his grandpa. They have no idea what's going on. They're still trying to figure it all out. And so she's not going to let grandpa.
He's alpha
or not.
He's alpha grandpa. His name was Gong Gong. Well, yeah. His Joy calls him Gong Gong. Champ thought that part was so funny, like hearing that name Gong Gong.
Yeah, I think it's like a term of endearment for a loved, like a grandpa or something like that. I believe. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, some of the language is a little suspect in this movie, so I had the closed captioning on as I'm watching it, and Champ is reading this stuff, so I had to stop him a couple times from saying some F-bombs or some S-bombs.
Well, there's a lot more in there than that.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, the whole time we think that Jobu Tupaki wants to kill Evelyn, but slowly she kind of reveals that she wants Evelyn to join her.
Right.
And so there's this dynamic of mother-daughter even through the multiverse. And I mean, Evelyn is kind of, I don't want to say falling for it. I mean, of course, that's your daughter, and you always want to have a better relationship with your child, especially if in one universe you have a broken relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So meanwhile, Alpha Grandpa he's creating an army. He's going to go after them both now that they've kind of teamed up and they're trying to figure stuff out. So we're just, like you said, we're seeing different versions of Evelyn, different versions of Joy. Now, Joy has more control over the verse jumping than Evelyn at this point.
Well, she got to a point where she couldn't control it anymore. She was just automatically going from universe to universe.
Well, but you talk about Evelyn?
Yes.
Yeah, but what they explained is how Joy became the bad guy is the alpha version of Evelyn was training her.
Right.
And they said she pushed her to a point where the fractures were too much.
Right.
And then it kind of overtook her. And that's how Jobu Tupaki became about. Right. So what Evelyn decides later on is that she's going to do the same thing so she could be on the same level as Jobu Tupaki. The problem is nobody taught her how to fix those fractures. So every once in a while on the screen, you'll see what looks like broken glass.
Yeah.
And this is more and more of her mind fracturing. And she's in one universe, like you said, she's not married, and she's her life is she's a famous actor. The husband has a good life. They're making money. Another one, she's a singer. Another one, she's a chef.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was stupid. I hated that part. I hated that.
Okay, but she was using it to help her fight.
Yo, when she was using
the sign, yeah, the sign turning with the shield, that was cool. I like that.
Nah, I'm not. I wasn't feeling the raccoon, man.
I knew you wasn't feeling the raccoon. I knew you were gonna say that.
I was not feeling the raccoon on the head. No.
Oh, come on. They did say this comes up as a comedy, so I'm just saying.
Oh, really? I did not know I was supposed to be laughing. I really didn't. I'm not. I did not know.
So one of the next fight scenes is insane. It's this lady with a daggone dog on a leash, and she's swinging the dog again like a chain whip.
Mm-hmm.
And so Evelyn's quirky thing, she takes a whole 2-liter of pop and drinks it really fast. And I think she gets like a pair of scissors and cuts this dog's leash or something crazy. Oh no, this is the one where she
a multiverse for that.
No,
I don't remember. I don't remember that was the power that she just got to cut a dog's leash.
This is where she got the chef powers, and she hit her with the egg.
Yeah, there you go.
The
The
metal
egg.
egg.
That was crazy.
But she did have to cut the leash with a knife and a shovel or something like that.
I just didn't think. I
And
don't
then-
think you needed the chef power to hit someone with an egg.
Okay, this is the part that I almost was like, okay, this movie's too much. So those awards I was telling you about earlier, the butt plug awards. There is two guys that come in and they're trying to use the butt plugs. They're basically pulling their pants off and trying to use them to power up. But Evelyn's trying to keep them away. And she doesn't succeed.
You had champ
And
watching.
Yeah, he.
I'm sure he skipped over that part.
Yeah, he didn't see that.
So
part. Yeah, I think
now
he was gone playing with his toys at that part.
So she's fighting these two guys who have powered up with butt plugs inserted. And the part that broke her is during this fight where she pulls them out to stop them. And she couldn't, she was over it. That was too much. That was too much weird for her. So she needed a few minutes. And and the funny part is, as her version of her being a movie star, they were showing that as like a movie. Now this part, I like weird. So this next part where she's doing the pinky, the
push-ups.
Yeah,
she's got super strong pinkies, and she's doing like pinky martial arts.
Yeah,
I got a kick out of it. Yes, it was stupid. Yes, it was silly.
Did you get a kick out of it knowing that I was not enjoying that?
Oh hell yeah!
I knew it.
I was like, oh, Gene's gonna hate this part. How about you, Angel? Funny, not funny, stupid?
To be honest with you, I didn't. I thought it was hilarious. I didn't mind it. I just thought it was.
Come on, man.
I thought it was just fun. I just thought it was funny. Like at that point, it was like, what else could you do that I wasn't expecting? That's how I just felt. Like, what else could you do? So.
Yeah, at this point in the movie, that's what you're doing. You're literally like, okay, what are they going to do next?
More like the ending. Because one of the ending scenes had me laughing. When we get to it, when they did like the whole dominatrix thing, that had me cracking up.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
Now, every time they show Joy or Juju Tupaki, she's got different weird clothes on. She's a different kind of person. She's all these different versions. Now, I'm going to run through a few of because there's tons of different universes. There's a universe where your hands are hot dogs.
Oh my! That was another one that killed me. That was so stupid.
I knew that was gonna,
oh my god, that was so stupid. And in that situation, that universe, Evelyn is dating the IRS lady that messing around with each other.
I guess
they're
sucking on each other's hot dog fingers.
Sucking
on each other's hot dog fingers. That's ridiculous. Using your feet to massage the other person's face. Get out of here, man. I don't know. She should be proud of me for watching my language. I'm watching my language today.
I don't know how she went. I don't know how she went to the set every day and thought like this movie was gonna be good. Like that's crazy.
The Rock. Okay, the one where they were just a rock was pretty silly as well. So slowly but surely, we're kind of learning that Juju Tupaki, aka Joy, she's kind of upset with her life. She basically thinks, more or less, she says that life is just like a big hamster wheel. You kind of run around. The same things happen, but inevitably, you're going to end up with the same story. Even if you go one way and go another way, you're going to end up here, or you're going to be missing out here. You're going to be da. So she's kind of unhappy, and they kind of keep showing and going back to her and her mom's relationship being fractured. They kind of keep going back to the wife and the husband being fractured. It's all these things in life that you can't necessarily control, but you kind of got to take them head on. Mm-hmm. And so her way of taking she's done in her own mind. She's done running on this hamster wheel. She wants to be over with. So she wants her and her quote unquote mother to join her, get rid of the whole multiverse and suck it up and just be gone together.
Right.
Now, the biggest issue with that is at one point, the mom's on board because she thinks, oh, I'm going to be with my daughter. This is the right thing to do. But then what happens is she's starting to see that her life with her husband is better than she thinks. That the life without her husband is not so great.
Right.
That she's starting to see kind of where everything isn't what it seems to be. And she's fighting, and she doesn't have to fight. The husband, her current husband, points out to her that she needs to stop fighting, and everybody needs to stop fighting, and they need to be kind. They need to be nice, like him.
Right.
Now, the original problem with him getting married to her, according to her dad, was that he was weak.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is, at this point, Evelyn realizes that her husband's not the weak one. He's got the most power. So she starts to see things through his eyes. And now, instead of fighting everybody, she's going to start treating everybody like her husband would. And she's going to be nice. So she's got googly eyes that were in the laundromat that she kind of hated. But now she's throwing them around and trying to make people laugh. She's giving out hugs instead of beating people. She's trying to help people.
I ain't gonna lie. When that damn rock turned around and had googly eyes, I got up and left. I left the room. Melissa laughed. She definitely laughed because when I saw that happen, I just couldn't take it. I needed to go to the bathroom. I let the movie keep on playing.
Come on, Gene.
The rock and the hot dog fingers and the piñata part, like, it was just too stupid for me. And honestly, and this is at a point in the movie too where, like Angel said, like every 15 seconds we're in a different. I forgot who the real woman was. Like, which one was really her?
Well, and the kind of one of the things that they did say why this version of Evelyn was kind of the one that was perfect, because they were basically saying she started a lot of things, like who she was in the multiverse were actually pieces of herself that she started but never pursued.
Right.
So they kind of looked at her as a blank slate that could be manipulated by each piece. And that's why she was able to pick things up so quickly, because she wasn't trained in one certain thing. Like I said, there's so many layers to this movie, and I might even be breaking it down even more than it was meant to be, because I was kind of looking at this like, is this really happening? Is this just a dictation of what's going on in their minds, but this is not really happening? But when I was listening to some interviews, no, the multiverse was real. This was all really happening. Because what happens is, like I said, she's kind of killing everybody with kindness, so they don't want to attack anymore. She even gets her father.
Yeah.
And
at
everyone's kind of, yeah. So, and then the very last test is her daughter. So she thinks to win her daughter over, she has to introduce Becky to the father as Joy's girlfriend. But in doing so, she kind of pushes her further away. So they're having a fight outside, and she basically tells her daughter, okay, yes, you're right. I don't want to do this. I don't like this. I don't do that. This is that. That is this. Of course, everything is going to go this way if we do that. But guess what? I don't care, because at the end of the day, I still want to be with you. I still want to love you. I still want to be your mother. I still want to be married to your father. I don't care if everything is set up a certain way. If I have a certain destiny, I choose my own destiny.
Right.
And, they have a moment, they break down, and then in the multiverse, it translates over when she's going into the bagel. Evelyn starts to pull her out, and then the husband is there, and the father, and everybody that she's helped now, including the guy who's pretending to be Ratatouille with a raccoon, Gene's least favorite part, which I gotta say, it made me laugh when she was explaining it, but when they showed it, it was dumb.
Yeah, man.
I'll agree with you. So we're seeing the effect of all this on the multiverse, and then so for the very end of the movie, the bagel's destroyed. Everything's basically kind of put back to normal. They save their business, and even her and her husband are kind of trying to get things back on track. And her daughter's relationship is getting better, and that's basically where the weirdness stops. The movie ends, and we kind of get this happy ending, and a feeling like, oh, this has been a interesting ride, because this is a crazy movie.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
if you're not ready for 2 hours of pure insanity,
it was
too
2
damn
hours
long.
and 20 minutes.
Too damn long.
Yeah, too long for this. This movie should have been at tops.
90.
I would say.
It's a 90-minute movie.
Yeah, or even an hour and 45. But that's about it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, listen, man. I'll let you guys give your grades. Go ahead. Whoever wants to go first.
For me, it was C+. For me, it was C+. It wasn't terrible. It was just so, like, again, everything everywhere all at once. It was just everything everywhere all at once. Like, it was just a lot to fucking process and handle. And I cursed. My bad. But it was just a lot to just. I've been doing so good, but it was just a lot to like just process, man. It was just a lot. Like how we say, if it was like an hour and 45 minutes, an hour and 30, I think it would have been a better. Not the same. Nothing in the story wasn't good, but I think there was just some parts that were drawn out. There was too much in certain areas.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a D+. A D.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, it wasn't, the acting wasn't bad. There was no bad acting in this movie. The actors did fine. The production was like a real produced movie. It would seem like a feature film. It didn't seem like a low budget movie. So all the cut scenes and everything made sense. It just was one. I just don't like weird movies. I think I might. Huh? Would you say?
Yeah, it was just too weird for me.
Yeah. I don't like weird movies. I can comprehend a bad movie, but I can't comprehend a weird movie, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
So I give it a D+.
I like when we're kind of all not on the same page, because I give it an A. This is my
What the hell? What the hell?
I like this movie, guys.
What?
I really enjoyed this movie.
Oh, hell no, bro.
I'm sorry. I don't care. I like these kinds of movies. I enjoyed it. I liked it from yes, I'm giving it an A. I don't care. I don't mind. I enjoyed it. Yes, it's weird. Give me the weird. Give me the chaos. Give me, a movie that has, an extra meaning to it. There's a lot of layers in this movie, but I enjoyed it. I really did.
So
I liked it.
You would watch this movie on just a random Tuesday, a random day?
I'm gonna watch it again. My wife wants to see it. My father-in-law has been talking about it, so I will probably see this at least 2 more times. No, my father-in-law would probably like this. My wife would definitely like this movie. This is more her type of movie than mine.
Wow.
This is my type of movie when it comes to superheroes and comic book stuff. Then yes, but I think it would have been done a little bit. It wouldn't have been as weird.
It wouldn't have been as weird,
and it would have been more of a traditional story as far as how the movie's made. But all right, what do you guys want to do next? Because I have a suggestion.
Do we still follow this list?
No, I'm done with that list.
I'm done with that Travis list. Like those.
So listen, we got into an argument. We got into an argument at VFT about it. Me and Travis got into an argument at VFT because you want to know why? I'm gonna tell you right now. One of our listeners, came up to me and Trav and said, "So when are y'all gonna review a good movie?"
What did Travis say? What did Travis say?
Travis goes, "Hey man, that's not even me. That's them right there." And I said,
"No! He put those movies out there for us."
I said, "Motherfucker, you gave us the list. You said we had to do this list." He goes, "I didn't say you had to do it all at once." I said, "We've been following the list for weeks." I was like, "What are you?" And I told him, like, "I'm not even gonna do this with you." I was like, "You made us watch Kung Fu Ghost. It was a sexist porno. Like, you're not doing this. Like, don't you dare." And then he tried to say, "Why don't y'all do this one? Why don't you?" I was like, "Trav, I'm not doing this with you, bro. Like, you're not about to do this." Like, I just got disrespectful to say it. And
I want to hear what Gene has. What do you got, Gene?
I was wearing the Fist Kicks and Flixx shirt. That's what sucks about it.
Hey, you know what? At least people are talking about it, so I don't care, good or bad.
Yeah, good.
All right.
Any publicity is good publicity.
I'm gonna say let's do John Wick. I saw the first movie I think during 2020. One of the days I didn't have nothing to do, and that wasn't bad. I just never got a chance to finish watching the second and third movie, and I know the fourth movie is coming.
Those get kind of crazy.
Okay, so get this. The first movie is still the best movie, okay? It doesn't get better than that. It doesn't get worse. Okay, I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
the second movie is pretty good, but it's some of the parts are a little slow here and there. The third movie is good compared to the second, in my opinion.
Watch the third one.
Okay.
And the fourth movie looks great.
Okay.
Now, the other good thing that I have about that is I have John Wick's stunt double as a buddy of mine in California. So that's going to be another interview we can do.
Perfect. There we go.
I've already talked to him. I've known the guy since he was younger. He used to be on the MKC circuit before he graduated and then moved to California. He's a member of Sideswipe. So, I've already talked to him. He's willing to do it. So we'll set it up.
All right,
perfect. Perfect. All right. So John Wick next week. Y'all cool with that?
Let's go.
Heck yeah. I love that movie.
All right, cool. You guys got any closing remarks or anything?
Just make sure you guys catch our Patreon. I'm gonna do an interview with one of the main stars from No Retreat, No Surrender, and I would say, man, a sport karate legend in his own right. So definitely gonna be good.
Anything, Joe?
No, I'm good, man. Can't wait.
All right, great. Well, everybody, stay safe, stay strong. We'll holler at you next week. And I'm on the boards today, so I will play our music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.